on Sunday. We talked about the Jets. We have Steve, who runs a Bills channel over on YouTube, joining us as well. I did invite a Dolphins fan and a Patriots fan as well, but they did not get back to me.
Cowards.
That's right. So, guys, thank you for coming to the channel. Thank you for giving me some of your time. Steve, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us a little bit about your channel.
You got it, my friend. Well, thanks for having me. Very excited. I've been looking forward to this all day long. In fact, I left the golf course early so I could get here on time to make sure I didn't miss the start of the show. And that's a big thing. Anybody that knows me, I love golf. Anyway, yeah, I'm a Bills fan, a scarred Bills fan that is just trying to get through the last few months ever since that debacle in Kansas City. And my YouTube channel is dedicated to putting out a video every single day until we win the Super Bowl, which is going to happen. I promise you.
So that's awesome. For the couple guys that are here, thank you for being here. I did just post over in the chat the link to Steve's channel there. So make sure you go over and check him out as well. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about your channel.
All right, Jets Chaos. So we do a live stream every Wednesday night. We call it the Wacky Wednesday Show. I also do videos that range from a bunch of different things, from eating hot sauce just to punish myself, all the way to just providing Jets news and Jets views. Again, it's Jets Chaos on YouTube. We have a lot of fun, and we'll be doing watch parties as well on Sundays. Not the Jet games, but the later games. Me and my brother get together and do a red zone watch party where we jump around 3 or 4 games and just call the games for people who aren't able to get them all, and just a way to hang out. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun.
That's actually a way for me to bond with my brother, to be honest. So
yeah,
that is awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna possibly do some of that myself on my channel, which I should have said my channel is Best Buffalo Bills Channel or not. You have to decide when you get there.
It's like a question.
Yeah. Awesome deal.
So, Steve, I did notice in some of the videos you've been posted the other day, you went to the fair there where you're at, and somebody recognized you. That had to be cool.
Yeah, that was pretty different. I was standing there in the line for the Ferris wheel, and a young man came up. He said, "Hey, man, you got a YouTube channel?" And he holds up his phone, and there I am on his phone. I'm like, "Oh, this is a little creepy," but it was cool. So I got to get some video with him and post it. It was a lot of fun. That's what it's all about, guys, right? Just having fun with those who follow your channel and not taking it too seriously, and trying to build a community. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and I know, Jeremy, you just got to the 1,000 follower mark over there on YouTube. So congratulations on that. Have you been recognized anywhere yet?
I would say it's not being recognized in person, but I did have an exciting thing happen where, one of the guys who started the Jet Lounge on Twitter, and they become this giant hangout space on Twitter with, several thousand people. They actually, the CEO of that rented out a brand new club in MetLife Stadium called The Hangar. And they invited a bunch of people to watch the game from there, to be in the club with some former Jets. And they made the tickets public, but they announced special guests and invited people that would have special easy access and be provided like special bracelet to get drinks and food first and all this stuff. And to my surprise, they invited me to be at that group, to be one, and they talk about me as one of the special guests.
Nice.
That's cool.
Which is shocking and extremely flattering, but to be treated that way, because we're just doing this channel to build a community and have fun. But it's an absolute pleasure. I mean, an honor, and I'm flying I live in Sacramento now, but I'm flying across the country so I could be there at that game, and I'm going to be hanging out with a couple of former Jets and all the Jets YouTube content providers and some of the other Jets media guys.
That is amazing.
Nice.
Good for you. That's fun.
Thanks.
Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, it looks like we started our channels about the same time. You started just the end of the last season?
Yeah, I started November, right at 2 days after Thanksgiving. I can't forget because it was in San Diego with my brother on Thanksgiving, and
Go.
decided, you know what, I'm going to do a channel. I'll announce it on my birthday in December, and then I said, screw that, let's just get it going. And I went on to another friend's show, announced it, and then the next day made a video, set everything up, and just threw it out there.
Cool. And you have a December birthday too.
Yeah,
December
I'm
what?
the 10th.
Okay.
Oh, nice. All three of us in December.
We got 3, 10, and 28.
Yep.
Nice. Got
All
some
right, so-
Sagittarius in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Capricorn on my end. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, but yeah, well, why don't you guys talk each a little bit about your channels and what to expect and what you have planned for the season.
Okay, well, yeah, like I said, I'm putting out a video every single day till the Bills win the Super Bowl, and then when that happens, I am just going to spend more time with my wife and kids. It'll be over. I do want to do exactly what JetsCast is doing, is live stream some games. I obviously can't do that the actual game, but to do the reactions to the games. Yeah. I'm also redoing my bar down in my basement, and I've incorporated that into my YouTube channel, where I'm going to show everybody the progress of my bar redo. I've got this old 70s motif that nothing's been touched down here in 40 years, so I'm going to do that. I've been in this house for about 15. And just, again, just having fun with the Buffalo Bills fans who cannot get enough Bills content right now. They are just going absolutely bonkers off the walls.
Yeah, I bet. I can imagine, because we always talk about, can you imagine if the Jets were winning, how crazy it would be going and how crazy our chat would be? Yeah. So we're looking forward to turning it around and seeing if that's the case. And we're able to like grow the community even more.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I agree. If your Jets start winning, man, watch out. They'll be breaking down your door.
That's exciting.
Yes. So why don't you guys both talk a little bit how you became fans of the Bills and Jets?
I could start. It's kind of interesting. I think Steve, you got a kick out of this. I was I know I look really young, but I'm actually really old. I was 1982, I want to say. I think, or it could be 81, because I always get confused over the years the way the Super Bowl carries over. But anyway, I was I'm kind of a Jets fan. I was getting into football, but my earliest memory of a game where I got hooked on them, where I was passionate for the first time, was actually a wild card game against the Buffalo Bills.
I knew you were going to say that.
we were losing the game.
Yep.
And we started making like a ferocious comeback. And it came down to the final drive. We were at like the 24-yard line or so.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Todd was the quarterback. Yep. And he drops back. And this is complete foreshadowing for what was to come the next year. He throws an interception and breaks my heart. Yep. So my introduction and the day I became passionate and fell in love with the Jets was a day of heartbreak.
Okay.
But it was also a great time to be a Jets fan, because that next year with the sack exchange,
right?
Freeman McNeil, Lance Mel, Mickey Schuler. There were some great players that are still recognized as some of the all-time Jet greats. But that sack exchange is what still to this day, aside from Namath and Super Bowl III, the Jets are defined by those two things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Super Bowl III and the sack exchange. I mean, two greatest pieces of our history.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You had Mark Gastineau, you had Joe Klecko, and I can't remember. There was another guy there that I can't remember, but
Marty Lyons.
Marty Lyons.
The fourth, who didn't have as good a career but was great those couple of years, was Abdul Salam.
Okay, yes. I remember the game well. I became a Bills fan 1 year before that. We lost a heartbreak to the San Diego Chargers. We were winning 14-13 with 2 minutes to go, and Dan Fouts hit some guy, Don Smith or something, over the middle for a 50-yard touchdown, went down, scored. Joe Ferguson, our quarterback at the time, was hobbled on a bad ankle from the game, and he just couldn't lean it back. And then I do remember that game you're talking about. Buffalo took a 31-13 lead. And in fact, we scored a touchdown on the kickoff. We kicked off to the Jets. The Jets fumbled the kickoff, and Charles Romes returned that fumble for a touchdown. And that's how that game started. Bills built that 31-13 lead. And then you're absolutely right. Mickey Schuler, the tight end, was killing us, and Richard Todd almost brought him back, and we just intercepted like at the 2-yard line. That was crazy game. So I could see what you're talking about. It sucked you in, right? Broke your heart, but sucked you in.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep.
And what's funny about that game is both quarterbacks, I think they both had like 4 interceptions.
Wow.
That's back in the days when interceptions were about as random as touchdown passes today, right?
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of heartbreak for me. Heartbreak there. Heartbreak the week after that when we lost to Cincinnati after we beat the Jets, and then there were 4 Super Bowls I think the Bills made. I can't remember for sure. We lost all 4. Music City Miracle, wide right, and then 13 seconds last year. And you know what? I'm done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm out of here.
Oh man, isn't it? It's not funny, but you know how we get so emotionally involved in our teams that we get so angry.
How did you become a Jets fan?
I became a Jets fan, in actually a sports fan overall in '86. So the Jets, I remember some of my friends were watching Giant games, and I'm like, no, I got to pick somebody different. Unfortunately, I ended up with the Jets, where all my friends were Giant fans.
Oh,
so '86 was a heartbreak season for me. Start off the year 10-1, finished 10-6. They did make the playoffs that year, but get knocked out in the double overtime game against the Browns.
Oh, do I remember that? Yeah, I should remember that.
So what's his name? I believe Mark Gastineau was called for a roughing the passer penalty in the fourth quarter of that game that started the Browns comeback.
Oh yeah,
really?
You take away that play, and we're playing Denver again in the AFC Championship.
Yep.
And then the famous drive never happens.
Right.
Wow. Oh, you guys lost 5 in a row after going 10-1. Wow.
10-1, yeah.
There's a guy named Paul McGuire for NBC, who predicted it, and when they lost to the final game of the season, Jet fans went outside the NBC trailer that he was in and started rocking the trailer. And they had him get the police there, a squad. I think it was like a squad team, like with riot gear, because they were afraid that the Jet fans were going to kill this guy.
Oh, he was a punter for the Bills, Paul McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the 60s. Very cool. Yeah. Memories. That's what's great about football and sports in general, man. Is like you can have nothing in common with somebody, but you bring up a old game or something, people can just talk for hours about that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to look a little bit further into some of the moves each team made this offseason. So we'll start with the Buffalo Bills. Some of the additions they made, they got Jamison Crowder from the Jets, O.J. Howard from Tampa Bay, Von Miller, of course, big signing on the defense. And I don't know about Duke Johnson now that since they did draft James Cook, but in their draft they got Cook and Elam I believe they took Elam in the first. So tell us a little bit about what the Bills did in the offseason, what you liked and what you didn't like, or what they should have done that they haven't done yet.
Yeah, they addressed everything they needed to based on where they were lacking last season. And that was honestly just the pass rush. We had the top defense in the league in so many categories, but it wasn't even necessarily, I don't think they even did that poorly in pass rush numbers. But when it came down to it, they could not get to the quarterback when it mattered the most. So they went out and they got Von Miller. And that was a surprise to all of us Bills fans because we were up against the salary cap, and somehow, some way, it doesn't really matter, right? These days, these GMs, they'll move money around, and so we're able to get Von Miller. The wide receiver position, I think they did okay. They let Cole Beasley walk. That to me was a bit of a surprise because he had 82 receptions last season. He did not have a big drop off from the year before, and he was very well versed in the offense, and him and Josh Allen were always on the same page. So whether or not Jamison Crowder is going to come in and fill his shoes, or Isaiah McKenzie is going to step up, or their rookie Khalil Shakir is going to, show that he can, elevate to the level of being a pro is, to me, a question mark. Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, they're going to be the two top guys. My favorite signing was OJ Howard because they have the new offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, and I think he's going to pretty much keep it the same as the year before, but with offensive coordinators escaping my mind. But with OJ Howard, the OJ Howard signing, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be running the ball more and working on the underneath passes even more than they did last year. I'm happy with it overall. Their first pick of Elam is definitely big. I have a friend who knows everything about college football, and he said that was like the best pick he wanted. And this is this guy I work with. He's a football head inside and out when it comes to college football. So he says it's a good pick. I'm going to trust him. You never really know until they start playing, right? And then their pick of, I'm not too big on the linebacker they picked out of Oregon, Terrell Bernard. But the pick of James Cook, that's the player everybody's talking about, right. Hoping that he's going to really juice up the offense from the backfield, catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. Like I said to you earlier, I mean, you just never know until they get out there playing, right? Breece Hall, I think he's going to be a stud. I think he's going to be a top 3 running back, like his rookie season, maybe even be a rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year candidate. But we won't know until they put on the pads.
So, like you said, last year, tough loss in Kansas City in the divisional round. But this year, even though I'm a Jets fan, Buffalo is my pick to win the Super Bowl this year. On paper, they look like the best team. But who do you think in the AFC gives you guys the toughest challenge?
I definitely not Patriots. And so it would be between Miami. Well, obviously it's going to be between Miami and New York because there's only two others left, right?
Well, so, I mean the whole AFC when you guys make
AFC.
So you will win the division and make the playoffs. So who, if you guys do get knocked out, who is it?
The LA Chargers.
Well,
the LA Chargers with Justin Herbert. I think they really retooled their defense real nice with Khalil Mack. And I mean, they got Bosa over there. So their defense is stout. They also picked up the cornerback from the Patriots. His name is escaping me, but the defense is better. The offense is really good. Herbert's going to have he should have at least as good of a season, if not better than last year. His first 2 seasons were amazing, right? For a rookie and then for a second-year quarterback. So I would say the LA Chargers.
Yep. All right. We have Overlord here in the chat. Says, yo, where's Sean? Sean is okay. Sean is taking a little bit of break here. Here in the summer. Work's really busy for him. So he said, you know what? He's going to take a little break, take a step back and refresh, come back for the regular season and hopefully a little bit before that once the preseason game starts as well. So Overlord, thank you for being here. Overlord is a Cowboys fan. So that's where Sean is. So Jeremy, as a Jets fan, what are your expectations for the Bills? For some reason, I don't hate the Bills as much as I hate the Patriots and the Dolphins. But I don't. Could be because my wife is from Western New York, so maybe yep. So maybe I gotten a little bit of a soft spot there. But Jeremy, your thoughts on Buffalo as a whole?
Well, we don't hate them because we haven't been relevant enough for them to really take anything from us.
Right.
So, same with us. We haven't been relevant either. So the two kids getting picked on in school all the time. It's just like you can't completely have a have the soft spot.
Miami is much easier to hate because of their arrogance.
Because,
and I mean that by we haven't won the Super Bowl since '69. They haven't won it since '73. It's pretty much the same amount of time in decades, and yet they walk around as if they've won 5 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. It's amazing to me.
Well, they do have an undefeated season that fans today
I know
never
we have
even
to watch
saw.
these
So.
old men drinking and toasting. There's like 3 of them left, and it's just annoying. And I think we're all united in hating the Patriots for obvious reasons. No, I agree with you, John. I have the Bills as my Super Bowl favorite. If and I mean that from literally, like, from the perspective of, if I had to put my life on it and be right, I would go with the Bills. I mean, I would go. There's no question about it. I believe that this is their year, and I think that it could have been last year. And I don't. It's one of those hard to explain things. I don't know if it was psychological with Kansas City or what happened, but I thought they were the best team last year, and I think that they'll fix whatever it was. Like, I think they're going to put it together and they're going to win this year. I think they got a winning quarterback, maybe the best in the NFL, and they got a great coach, and the defense. Everything is together for them. They're right in the prime of that rebuild from a few years back. They're right in that sweet spot, and this is it. This is do or die. These next couple of years, they've got to deliver, because if you don't, then it's like kind of this deflating thing, and it kind of fizzles away. So. And then, we'll see about the years after that based on their drafting and, what they do to keep Josh Allen supported. But these next 2 years are opportunity years for the Bills. And I think that, just from what I've seen of this coach, I think, and the quarterback, I believe they're going to do it. I think that they're going to deliver and they're going to get their ring.
Yeah, agreed. Overlord chimes in, says, underrated opinion on who wins Super Bowl. Watch out for the Chargers. Yep, I think they can surprise a bunch of people as well. And I honestly don't think it'll be a surprise. I think a lot of us do expect the Chargers to be one of those teams as well. So let's put I have the Buffalo Bills projections here. Let's put them up on screen. So let's look at their schedule to start off. Man, they start off with that Thursday night game against the Rams. And actually, at the beginning, once they announced the schedule, I thought the Rams would easily win that game. Now I've actually flip-flopped the other way and I don't think it'll be easy, but I do think the Buffalo Bills will win that game on that Thursday night opener. Steve, your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously you don't know, but if I kind of I like the way Jets Chaos said it. If your life is on the line, and you had to pick something, I would take the Bills in that game. I think they're just riding too high going into the season, expectations, and Josh Allen, he is the type of quarterback you want. He's the type of athlete you want on your team. He is all football, all day, all the time. I see him, and from what I hear, I don't see him. I've never met him, but he is the type of guy that will get to the facility early, leave late. He's in the playbook, and so I don't see the Bills actually having a problem with the Rams. I don't see a blowout, but yeah, I do believe the Bills are going to take that one. And from there, I mean, it's off and running, right? And the one thing is that could change everything is what, guys? What is the one thing that could change the trajectory of any team in a heartbeat?
Injuries.
That's exactly right. So that's the only thing. It's like every play, especially when Josh Allen is running, it's like, oh gosh, please. Being a Bills fan, you're like, just please.
We were calling that game in a watch party, me and my brother. We were like on live, just calling the game, and my brother kept saying the same thing for both quarterbacks. No, stop. And he was saying it, his big thing that he kept saying over and over again was, they're not going to have long careers if you keep doing that. Like, they've got to they can't do what they did to him in that game. He was just running too much and taking too many hits.
Yes.
And he's too good of a quarterback. He's able to play in the pocket, obviously. They've got to find a way to reduce the amount of hits he's taking, because he's too good to just bang up and beat up and shorten his career. This guy needs to be around for, another 12 to 15 years.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I agree 100%.
We got, let's see here. Oops. Let's go back over here. We have Rye Cannon in the chat. Rye Cannon is a Seahawks fan. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Sending some bits as well. Thank you for the bits. Bits are like the donations over on YouTube. So
Nice.
thank you for those.
Boy, I need to come over to your side and Twitch and get some money over here. What the heck?
Get some bits.
I haven't made a dime.
So, so once again, Rye Cannon, thank you for being here. Thank you for that for the bit donation there as well. I asked Rye Cannon. Hopefully, he can come on to talk about his Seahawks next week. So, after the Rams, you got the Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Steelers, Chiefs before your bye. Any of the games you're looking forward to? I guess Kansas City. And is that game in Buffalo or is that game in Kansas City?
That game is in Kansas City. And so I am actually getting bored with the Kansas City Bills matchup, to be quite honest. I would the game, honestly, that I'm looking forward to the most, and this might surprise you, is that home opener, the home game against the Browns in Week 11, because it's two teams on the lake. I've gotten into it with a lot of Browns fans on my channel. I'm really hoping Deshaun Watson is playing then, because they are convinced that Deshaun Watson is the savior of that franchise. I just cannot believe how pathetic the Browns are when it comes to picking players in the draft and picking up free agents, because they always pick head cases, whether it's Johnny Manziel or a guy with 20-some sexual assault accusations against him, or Baker Mayfield, who, has an attitude and got in trouble with a little bit trouble with the law when he was in college, or Jarvis Landry, who was just a real piece of work from what I understand in the locker room. So I'm really looking forward to Week 11 and that beat down. But besides that, I guess the Packers in week 8 on Sunday night is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, then let's see. After Green Bay, you play us, but then Minnesota, like you said, Cleveland, Detroit. Looks like it gets a little easier for you there in the second half. New England. Are you guys worried about New England at all? I don't. With Belichick being there, I guess you can never rule them out. But I did not like their offseason at all.
No, they had a terrible offseason. The draft was really a head scratcher. They took the guy whose last name actually fits. What was his last name?
Strange.
It was Strange, right? Yeah.
Strange.
So, I mean, that was just perfect. No, the Patriots are finally insignificant. They are going to probably not be a playoff team for at least another 2-3 seasons. Belichick, I think it all was shown to be, like, the question was, who was it, Belichick or Brady?
Right.
Hands down, it was Brady. Brady was the guy that was the reason why they had such a great run. Yeah, no, I mean, and then back to the AFC East, I would have to say the Jets are the biggest concern for me, because they had such a solid draft. They have, I believe, they should be a top 10 quarterback in the league, with finally, after they got some guys that he can throw the ball to. Garrett Wilson, if he proves to be the receiver that everybody thinks that he should be, that's going to be big. Who else do you guys have at wide receiver now that Crowder's gone?
Well, we got we didn't really replace him as much as we drafted Garrett Wilson. We realized that Berrios is really good. And,
yes, that's right. Berrios
to have a role, so we kind of promoted. I think he's like the number 4 and kind of been promoted up. But you're going to see Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and Berrios are the top 4.
Okay, and so you can still, I mean, you still have Odell Beckham out there, and also Julio Jones.
Right.
Is there any chatter about possibly picking one of those guys up?
I don't think that's what the areas of need for the Jets. They're not looking at wide receiver.
No, you're good with that.
No.
That top, you're good with that 4.
No, I think they're very happy with that 4, and especially with 5. I don't think that I think the fans may have, but I don't think the organization has given up on Mims.
Okay.
Right.
I think that the organization still believes that Mims might come and be what he was supposed to be, and maybe even be the replacement for Corey Davis in a couple of years.
Okay. Cool.
And I like Mims as well. So I know he bulked up this offseason, so hopefully whatever the issues were last year, he can get back on the field here. But let me take care of some of this. Rye Cannon says Cash Cannon. Another 5 bits. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, let's keep going here. You guys end up last game of the year against New England as well. So let's look at the stats here for Allen. 4,400 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and 680 yards rushing, and 7 touchdowns there. As Steve, as a fan, do you want those rushing yards to come down and up those passing yards, or what do you think about Allen at 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns? You taking that?
When it comes to rushing yards, I want him to have 18 attempts, and I want him to have minus 18 yards. So those attempts are him kneeling down. Other than that, no rushing yards for Allen. You're absolutely right. Would love to see him break the 5,000, but I think those are very reasonable numbers when it comes to the fact that I think they're going to try to run the ball more with Cook, with Singletary. I don't think Zach Moss is going to make the team. So yeah, that looks right about, and that's about the numbers that he had last season. I think he had 37 and 15, if I'm not mistaken. But in terms of attempts and rushing yards, I unfortunately think you're probably right on the money there. Those are your projections, or
those are my projections. Yep.
Yeah, I think you probably nailed it right there.
And we do have him projected as the number 1 fantasy quarterback this year. So
yeah.
So hopefully Case Keenum doesn't even see those stats there. Hopefully Allen doesn't get injured this year. But let's look over at the running back position. I have Singletary right now expected to lead the team with about 863 yards. Cook second at 450. What are the odds that maybe flips and maybe Cook's more closer to 800, 900, and Singletary is number 2?
Yeah, that's, to me, the $50,000 question, whether Devin Singletary is going to be pushed out of that backfield by Cook. We'll know pretty quick. You watch James Cook and his college highlights, as with all these highlights that you watch, Bomb's production or whatever with the music and everything, and Cook looks amazing, right? But he's playing against college kids, so. If I was to bet, and just a gut feeling based on nothing else but that, I would say that by the 6th, 7th game of the season, James Cook is seeing more touches than Devin Singletary. So I think that probably will flip.
Gotcha. And looking at the wide receiver position, definitely Diggs, your number 1. You have Gabriel Davis as the 2 this year, Crowder at 3. And you guys did draft Shakir. I have him on. Oh, let me get those on the screen. So, what do you think after Diggs? What do you think of the rest of the wide receiver core there?
No, I don't think Diggs is going to be the top guy this year. I think it's going to be Gabriel Davis.
Wow.
I think that he had the breakout game last year, and he really had been coming on and off for his first couple seasons. And they're still going to have to cover Diggs. He's still going to have to get probably the most attention. At least he will in the first probably half of the season, until teams start saying, okay, this Gabe Davis guy is a problem. And then they'll probably split more than anything. And then who knows? Maybe they'll finally start going to guys outside of Gabe Davis and Diggs. But yeah, I would expect the numbers to be closer. Maybe Diggs will have a little bit more production than Davis, but I can see Davis getting more touchdowns, maybe not more yards, but more touchdowns and probably as many receptions. This is coming from a guy that does a YouTube channel from his basement. So just take that as it is. I mean, watch this video 4 months from now, and they'd be like, that guy had no idea what he was talking about.
That's all right.
Yeah. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm thinking. So if you are in a fantasy draft, you don't want to take Gabe Davis over Stephon Diggs because it's still a safer pick overall, but you're not hurting yourself if you take Davis over Diggs, I don't think.
Right. I do have Diggs as the 5th ranked wide receiver, where Davis is the 36th ranked.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And that makes sense, because they don't have Diggs has the resume, Davis doesn't.
Right.
But Diggs is, how old is he now? Like 30? I'm gonna look it up real
He's
quick.
got to be getting close, yeah.
Okay, and so you have Davis, he's in his prime, and you always have that one player that eventually breaks out. Diggs is only 28. You have that one player, so Diggs is also still in his prime. But besides besides Gabe Davis, I mean the guy from Minnesota who the Vikings picked using that draft pick that they traded, got from Buffalo, Jefferson, right?
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
Okay. So these are the guys that they're going to start taking the place of the guys that have been the top wide receivers, I think, over the last 3 years. I think Diggs is definitely just hitting the top of that roller coaster, right there. Because his production dropped off a little bit last year. Of course, he had such a great season the year before with 127 receptions, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you could pump those Davis numbers up a little bit there.
So we'll keep an eye on that. What do you think about Crowder? He was with the Jets the last couple of years. He can't stay healthy. He hasn't played a full season since 2016, so injuries are always a concern there. And out of the 6 I have projections for, is there somebody you think doesn't make the team?
Oh, yeah. I think all those guys make the team there. I don't know about Marquez Stevenson. I mean, they try to get him in the return game. Yeah, you're right about Jamison Crowder. I like the signing, but it is all contingent on his staying healthy. How much did he get hurt over there?
Like I said, I know he was very productive when he actually played, but he just always missed. I think it was anywhere between 3 to 5 games every year.
Really?
Yeah, he's injury prone, missed 1 or 2 games throughout, here and there, but when he's on the field, he was our most talented player since 2016. Not that that's a high bar, but he was, and he was playing really in bad circumstances as far as, horrible coaching, horrible offense. So I actually think, there's a chance if he stays healthy, he'll be a fine replacement for Beasley. You might not even miss a beat.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's where we're banking on. Yeah. We do have a few guys, in the pipeline. Isaiah Hodgson's from Oregon State. They've been kind of, his name's been popping up now and then in different chats. Tanner Gentry, he also played at Wyoming. Had a on the field chemistry with Josh Allen. I don't think Tanner Gentry is going to be anybody that you're going to see any further than the practice squad. Tavon Austin is the one guy is kind of like, he had no production over the last 2 seasons. And it's not like he was in a bad situation, where the teams he played for. So, yeah, if Jamison Crowder doesn't stay on the field, then we're going to hope that one of those 3 guys that I just mentioned kind of step up.
Yeah. Jumping over to tight ends, Dawson Knox was having a decent season last year, and then I think he got hurt, but then came back. So what are your expectations? I know you said you like the O.J. Howard signing, so do you think Knox is still going to be tight end 1 and Howard just being the backup?
Yeah, because Dawson Knox knows the offense, has continuously improved his game, and he'll probably have similar production this season. I do believe O.J. Howard will get more catches than our tight end number 2 last season. I can't even remember who that was, honestly. And the Ken Dorsey offense, it looks like they're going to be going to more 2 tight end sets. And you got to imagine that O.J. Howard's going to, as Dawson Knox, draws attention from linebackers over the middle, that O.J. Howard, if they're both on the field, might get some of those passes.
Yep. And then Bass, of course, one of the best kickers in the league. And, of course, Buffalo's defense. I have Buffalo's defense as the number 3 ranked fantasy defense, so should put up good fantasy stats this year. Bass, how good is he from long range?
Yeah, he's like you said, I think he might be the best kicker in the NFL, especially kicking in Buffalo, where it's tough to kick when it gets later in the season. No problem putting him on the field. Doesn't miss very often. And the defense, yeah, I mean, I think they were like maybe at best a top 5 defense last year. I think they kind of I don't know, they pumped up their stats somehow, some way, because whenever I watched them, it didn't look like they were able to stop anybody, against Kansas City. I mean, it was like it looks like they had 8 guys on the field, especially on that last drive. So I think that's about right. Definitely a top 5 defense. But with Von Miller, that's going to be an interesting thing. Is he going to still play at the level that he did the last 3-4 seasons? We all hope so.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think record-wise? Of course, winning the division should be fighting for the number 1 seed as well for your Bills.
Yeah, we're going to have those hiccups like we did against Jacksonville last season, where we lost the Jaguars 9-6 or something, and we lost that weird Monday night game against the Patriots. I'm going to say that it's reasonable to think that they could lose 4 games. 5 would be a shocker, and I would be thrilled if they, won 15 games for the year. So my record here, my unofficial, I'm going to change this later tonight probably, but 14-3.
Yeah,
is that okay?
I could see Buffalo going 14-3.
I don't want to be insulting.
No. Hey, as long as one of those 3 is against the Jets, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Hey, yeah, if you watch one of my YouTube channels, my first predictions for the whole season, game by game, I have them losing to the Jets.
Oh wow,
really?
Yeah.
I think
because the Jets are gonna be pretty good. I mean, I honestly think they will be. It'll be one of those things. The last 2 weeks of the season, you're gonna be on the New York Times playoff simulator or the ESPN simulator, probably like I am, going through every game. I think the Jets will be in that position probably the last 2-3 weeks of the season.
That's funny because that's what we always talk about. We hope that in December, when they put up that graphic, that the Jets are somewhere under the words "in the thick of it."
Yes, exactly. In the hunt.
Right,
yeah, they'll be in the hunt. They'll definitely be in the hunt.
I hope so.
So
I'm not just saying that because I'm a guest on a Jets channel. I do believe that they're going to be in the hunt.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So let's. I got the Jets stuff ready to go as well. So let's look at the Jets season here. So tough way to start the season. Our first 4 games are against Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. Now we did beat Cincinnati last year. I remember Jeremy, your channel, you guys said, what are the chances of the Jets winning against Cincinnati? I said there was 0% chance. And you guys shredded me saying there's always a chance, and then they actually go out and win that game. But it'll be interesting to see how they match up again this year. Cincinnati's definitely improved. But yeah, let's start with the first 4 there against the NFC North or AFC North. What do you think of that start to that year? Season?
I think what we should start by saying, that as football fans, we should always understand that in every single game, every single team has a chance, right? Nobody would have expected Jacksonville to beat the Bills last year, right? So there's always the chance they have that hiccup game. It's the possibility of, no matter what the matchup is. But we're talking about what we really believe will happen and what's likely in a normal situation without that outlier type game. So that's how I'll go. But understand, as a Jets fan, I believe there's a chance in every one of these games. Without being ridiculous and saying I think there's a chance we'll go to 17-0. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in any given game there's a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the Ravens, they should be the favorite. But I think that I think we have a better chance than most people think we have. I think it's closer than people think. I think if we play them 100 times, they win 55 and we win 45, which means to me they're a little bit better and they're the favorite. But 45 times out of 100, I believe we can beat them.
Right.
So, I'm going to that game. I'll be there, and I'm going to win. I'm thinking win. It's not one of those games I feel like, oh, we're a heavy underdog or this is going to be almost impossible. I see a lot of different paths to victory. I can imagine and visualize a lot of ways that the Jets could pull this game off. So I would slightly edge towards the Ravens, but it's going to be close. It's going to be really close, and there's a possibility the Jets take this game.
Yeah, and if they can, I mean, if you get, it'll be nice to start the year, even if somehow they can win 2 of these games. It'll be nice to start September at like 2-2, and man, it's been brutal being 0-4 every September for the last few seasons. So, got to get off to a faster start.
Well, Cleveland's the game I think we could win. I think we could beat Brissett.
Mm.
I don't think no matter what happens, I don't think that Watson is playing in that game. The best
Agreed.
case scenario for him is he's playing week 9. So I think we should win that game. I mean, if we're as good as we are hoping to be, we're playing a team with Jacob Brissett as their quarterback. And if the roster is as good as we think it is, if our roster is what it's supposed to be, Zach Wilson should be able to overcome Brissett. He should. Mm-hmm. I know he's still growing. I mean, we always parallel him to Josh Allen in our hopes and dreams, right? We're hoping that he has that trajectory. Josh Allen still year 2 wasn't there yet, but he took a step forward and he had those flashes. And if that's what Zach Wilson does, if he takes that next step and he's having those flashes, he should be able to lead us over this team. We should be able to beat a team led by Brissett.
Yeah, Ry Cannon says Browns team is already pretty good before the season, and Watson is unfortunately one of the most talented quarterbacks in the world. Cleveland with Watson should be a problem. Yeah, I don't know.
No question about it.
I definitely like their running game. I don't know too much about their defense, but yeah, definitely with Watson, definitely a different team than without Watson as well.
Right, but I do like Steve's point of it's still a team game. So it's not a guarantee. Just throwing Watson on there doesn't mean you're definitely going to be a winning team. Mm-hmm. You still have to have chemistry. You still have to have character. It takes character to win football games.
Amen. That's right there. Yep. That's going to be a big problem for Cleveland. They even with Watson, he's going to have to learn the offense. He's going to have to mesh with his players. He's got a lot of distractions off the field. So I see the Jets beating Cleveland in week 2.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with or without Watson.
Mm. And then realistically, Cincinnati was a hiccup game last year for them. It was their hiccup. So the odds they come back and have another hiccup game, we're not where they are yet. Mm-hmm. Their quarterback is further along than Zach is. Their team is further along in their system and what they try to do. So I don't expect to win that game. I think that it's a game where we're kind of a long shot. It would be an extreme upset, a big shocking upset or big surprise if we were to win that game. Now, that could change over the first 2 weeks. If we come out, everything clicks. And it's like we might feel differently. And the Jets might already be turning heads as, oh, my God, it's all coming together for them. But for right now, we have to put that down as a loss if we're being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, I think we could win that game. Because, again, quarterback. This is where the games the Jets have to win. We're predicated on our defensive line is back. Given they stay healthy, we got Lawson. We picked up Jacob Martin. You got JJ. You got JFM. You got Quinnen Williams. We should be able to beat teams with inexperienced or not strong, very competent, like extreme talented quarterbacks. We should be able to raise hell up for them defensively. They'll be really tough to score off of. Pittsburgh always brings it on defense. But I think we need to take that game. And I think part of it, the reason we're going to win that game is because we have no choice.
So then
sometimes your back's to the wall.
Yeah. And then to finish out the first half of the schedule, Miami, Green Bay, Denver, New England, and then Buffalo week 9. Still, man, definitely a tougher half to the schedule, at least on paper, than the second half. But how many for the Jets, like you said, for the Jets to be on that chart going into the second half of the year to be in the hunt, how many of those 9 games do they realistically have to win?
4. We have to be 4 and 5 based on the way our schedule is set up. So I think the biggest opportunities to get those 2 wins, obviously, is Miami and New England. And I think that we're going to come out like that's our Super Bowl against Miami at first, because I think I think it's not just a fan thing. I think in the clubhouse, I think in the organization, they're saying to take the next step, you have to be able to win games in your division. We haven't done that in over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have to win games in our division. So I think that the time is now. You know, Miami is learning a very difficult scheme offensively that we had to go through that last year. So they're going to struggle. They're not going to be if this coach is the right coach, it doesn't mean it's this year. It takes a while to learn the West Coast offense, or at least this version of it. So I don't think I think that this is where Miami is susceptible because they're having to learn this new system. And again, New England's it's just getting over the psychological part of it. We have a better roster than they do. It's just a question of can we get over the psychological Bill Belichick thing. You know, the big brother thing, because we act like, you know, we get pushed around with their little brother.
Yeah. So if the Jets do go 4-5, say in those first 9 games, and then coming out of the bye, we face New England, Chicago, Minnesota, and Buffalo before the final four games there. So what are you thinking? 6 or 7 wins by then?
Well, I think we're going to take 2 out of those 4. I don't know if we're going to sweep both. I don't know if we're going to sweep New England. I think that we got Chicago, and then I think it's going to be either New England or Minnesota, but I think we'll get one of those games. I don't know which one, but I think we'll get 2 out of the 3 games, week 11 to week 13. We're going to take 2 out of 3. Then we're going to lose to Buffalo.
Yeah, right. Can already look at the schedule and be like, yeah, that's a loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the final 4 games, we don't know what Detroit's going to be. Here's where we get into the hunt, because at this point we'll be 6 and let's say at that point we played 13 games, 6 and 7, right? So we'll be thinking if we could win 10 games, you're in the playoffs. Maybe the truth is 9 games gets you in with tiebreakers. Who knows? And we only need 3 out of 4. But the bottom line is there's not one game in those last 4 games of the season that we shouldn't expect to win. We should expect to win all 4 games. Wow.
Now, not as a group. If I wouldn't bet my life on that we're going to win all 4 because things go. But week by week, team by team, there's no excuse if we believe what we believe about our team that we shouldn't win all of those games when you look at them individually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the problem is, Detroit. Yeah, like you said, at least they look like winnable games. But Detroit played a lot of close games last year, so you know that's going to be a tough matchup. Jacksonville, they got Peterson down there as head coach. Don't know what they're going to look like. Spent a lot of money in free agency. Seattle, at least on paper, looks horrible. And then Miami. Miami games are always, you never know what to expect from a Jets-Dolphins game.
This is why I say they're going to get 8 or 9 wins. They're going to they're not going to win, like as a group of all 4. I don't think they'll win all 4. I think they have a good chance a real chance to win 3 and a very legitimate chance to win 2. So this is why I think that they can get to that 8, that 9 win range.
So agreed as well. Steve, I don't know if you know you're muted.
Yeah, I realize it. I got my kid. Kid was running up and down upstairs. So.
Oh, that's okay. So what would you think of a Jets season getting like Jeremy says that 8 or 9 win plateau?
Yeah, I see them 7 and 6. I totally agree. The first 9 they'll be 4 and 5. Like if I had to guess. And then I see them beating the Patriots, 5 and 5, beating the Bears, 6 and 5, beating the Vikings. 4-5, 5-5, 6-5, 7 and 5, and then definitely run into the Bills there, 7 and 6, and then I mean there it is. I mean the ESPN playoff simulator has you guys probably in the playoffs, winning 3 of those last 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I think the Jets are going to be legit because with the draft that they have and the players that they have, the quarterback. The biggest question for me is the offensive line. How did you guys do on? Did you have to retool it? What?
Oh well, yeah, we could talk about that for sure. We did a lot, but if we go in, I just want to say if we go into those final 4 weeks 7 and 6, New York is going and New Jersey are going to be shaking.
Yes, agreed.
Like it's going to be, and I think Bills fans, I think all NFL fans, and at some level will appreciate it. Like it'll be good for the NFL to have New York and New Jersey, that area, really back in it.
Yeah.
Like really alive, because New York will be absolutely. And I say New York City, because I know Buffalo's the only real New York team, but or that actually plays in New York.
Right.
But New York City will be rocking. It will be. It's going to be really. It would be crazy if we were 7-6, because New York fans are savvy enough to understand those last 4 games and what it would mean.
Yeah. The good thing for you guys, you got a lot of the games, I think, that are pivotal at home. You got the Bengals at home. I think that's a big one there. I saw that you have who was it down here? The Lions at home, because the Lions are better. Going to be better this year. I think those are 2 games that are big to have at home. Maybe not as many as at home I thought. The Packers on the road, but
the Packers Denver really kills us.
Yeah, those are 2 games. But I'd say having the Bengals at home, having the Lions at home, and those games you should win, having them at home, that's big too. The Jaguars, having the Jaguars at home, because I know all too well going into Jacksonville, something about that place. And then the Broncos on the road, but the Broncos are going to be very beatable, even with, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to make that big of a difference in Denver. I honestly don't. I see a letdown in Denver. I think they're all talking playoffs. I predict they won't make the playoffs.
Wow. So yeah. So let's look at the stat projections here. Wilson in his second year, just under 60% completion percentage, just under 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Definitely hope he gets that ratio a little bit higher. Touchdowns, interceptions, but Jeremy, your thoughts on our projections for Wilson this year?
I think they're a little low, and here's why. I think that Zach Wilson was truly a 59 to 60% completion percentage last year. If you take the amount, they were number 2 in the NFL in drop passes. They were in the top 5 in the first half of the season. They were the worst team in pass protection. So, Zach Wilson was under pressure within 2 seconds on average. So, but even if you just made us an average team and drop passes in the NFL, that would have boosted them to 60% completion right there. Just being an average team with the average amount of drops. So, I honestly think I'm looking for more of a 64%, 63 to 64% completion. And I think that'll help get him to like 3,800 yards, especially with the receivers. And I think the 22 touchdowns is not so far off. I think it'd be more like 25, and the interception would be more like 10.
Gotcha.
So these would be the adjustments that I would make. And I think the reason for that is you were asking about the offensive line, Steve. I think the Jets last year, as we know, Becton went out game 1. So you're starting left tackle, you're rising, your rookie stud, supposedly, soon to be eventually Pro Bowl tackle gets hurt game 1. So the other thing is we play a very, very under average subpar Greg Van Roten, right? Just should be a backup player. He's a guy that's on your bench that you don't love to see in there, but he's an insurance policy with experience, but instead he's starting for us. Then you have AVT, who's going to be really good, but he's a rookie. So he's learning and making mistakes. You go into year 2, we had Lincoln Tomlinson, a Pro Bowl tackle, who is coming from San Francisco, the same exact offensive system. So there's no ramp up whatsoever. We're just gaining a Pro Bowl guard to replace where we were the weakest. You get AVT coming into year 2, who's getting better every game last year. And in his last 3 or 4 games was starting to justify the draft pick, right? Then you got Becton coming back. You got George Fant coming back. George Fant, who did great last year of experience in the system. McGovern, center, last 8 games of the year was a top 10 center. Had to learn the new system. Now he knows it. He finished the year great. I think we have a completely different offensive line now. So that's going to change everything. Plus, they know the system, which is the biggest, because that was the biggest problem in the first few games last year. They were learning a new scheme and they were literally missing assignments.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you take all of that, you go from no tight ends, Croft is your start, your TE1, and then you move to Ozuma and Conklin, and all of a sudden you put some real experienced, good veteran tight ends in there. You add Breece Hall to Michael Carter. You add Garrett Wilson. So many weapons. I think it's just it sets Zach Wilson up to take that, what I like to call the Josh Allen second year, jump.
Yeah, let's say hi in the chat. Frank is a dark boy, says happy Thursday, fellas. Hope the stream is going well at work, but I'll be lurking with the tab open. Thank you, Frank. Thanks for being here. I'll be sure to check out your stream tonight as well. He plays a lot of Japanese video games, so I'll be checking him out as well. So I have Breece Hall here predicted to lead the team with 906 rushing yards and 38 catches out of the backfield. Are those numbers good enough for Rookie of the Year, or do you think he'll even be higher than that and Carter's numbers might be a little lower?
I actually think it's hard with a rookie, right? It's hard to argue with 900 yards for a rookie, especially when you have a guy like Michael Carter on the team that proved he was a good running back in the NFL last year. I think if anything, it might be more like Breece Hall might get the 900 yards, but Carter might get like 750. So I think he'll be higher. I think the Jets are going to run a lot more now that they are going to have Nick Bawden and have a real fullback, and they could play a 21 or a 22 personnel more, like the offense is designed to. And because they have the offensive line and the personnel to do it, I think you're going to see them run and go back to what the offense is supposed to truly be. Establish the run, and then open up the passing game by forcing the opposition to stop the run. So I think that's going to lead to more carries and more yardage. But I have a hard time saying or claiming Breece Hall, even though I think his ceiling definitely could go over 1,000 yards very easily. His ceiling is very high. I don't argue with 900 yards because he is a rookie, and I've seen in this league that rookies take time sometimes. They don't come in full speed. And, it's like, look at any football players, like wide receiver or running backs, statistics and stats. And you'll see their rookie year very rarely is as good as year 3, year 4, year 5. I mean, it starts off slower.
I just got a tweet from Ian Rappaport. The Browns signed quarterback Josh Rosen. So adding depth to that quarterback room.
It's so funny here in Buffalo in the 2018 draft. A lot of Buffalo Bills fans were upset that we didn't take Rosen over Josh Allen.
Oh wow!
Oh my God!
Which did you guys at all want Josh Allen in that
I did.
draft?
I wanted Allen because I thought Darnold was going number 1. So I thought Allen was going to be. I thought Allen was the second best quarterback in that draft, and we end up with Darnold.
I wanted to trade back a couple of spots and get Allen. Like I said, we could trade back 2 spots, get some picks, and we could still get Josh Allen. I hated the thing. Well, he's not NFL ready. I said, so the Jets aren't ready to win. Who cares?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why does he have to be NFL ready? Like, he was clearly the most talented guy. That's how I felt about Zach Wilson too. I love those kind of players. I love arm talent, mobile players, athletic players that can throw off balance, that can make off script plays. Those are the guys I love. So I loved Zach Wilson the same reason I loved Allen coming out. I just love the talent.
Who did you guys get? So you got Darnold, and then who was the other pick you guys got was the 4th pick, 5th pick that year?
Oh no, the year that we took Darnold, I don't think we had another first round pick.
Oh no, I'm thinking Cleveland. I'm thinking Cleveland. That's right. Cleveland had Baker Mayfield, and I'm switching my teams here. Yeah. So it was crazy that they just signed Rosen because that poor guy. He just doesn't care about football. If you heard about his background, he's kind of like, he could kind of take it or leave it kind of deal.
Yep. So, Jeremy, let's look here at it. We know in this system that the Jets are running, they like to use the running backs. So after Hall and Carter, who's going to be the odd man out here? We got Coleman, Johnson, and LaMichael Pirine.
Ty Johnson's got to go, in my opinion. He dropped way too many passes, and it's not just those plays. He killed 3 drives in a row by dropping 3 passes in a row on third down. But it affected the whole game. When you drop a pass and you end a drive, you stop your quarterback from being able to develop a rhythm. It's crushing, and I don't like hot cold players. I don't like players that can be great one play and then will totally screw up the next play. Players like that on a team doesn't lead to Super Bowls. It doesn't lead to championship type teams to me. To me, consistency is what does it. It's like guys that week to week consistently show up and you can trust them week to week. And Ty Johnson is just such a hot cold hit miss player. LaMichael Pirine, his problem is he's not bad. He's decent in everything. He deserves a spot in the NFL, but he's not great at anything either. Like, he doesn't flash. There's nothing exciting about him. I think if it wasn't for I think he has a chance to beat out Tevin Coleman, only because Tevin Coleman is older. So with Pirine, you get more upside as far as time. We would have him for more years. I think that he would have the best chance to take away Tevin Coleman's job. Because, again, while there's nothing great or magical about him, there's nothing bad to say about him. Like, he does what he's supposed to do. He's just not a flashy guy.
So, let's see here. Borden probably make the team. I believe he's the fullback, right?
Yeah, he's making the team as fullback. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked if he didn't make the team. Because LaFleur loves – it's the San Francisco offense. They love a fullback in that offense.
So let's jump over to wide receiver here. I have your boy Elijah Moore projected as wide receiver 1 for the Jets, but then rookie Wilson at 2, Corey Davis 3, Braxton Berrios, of course, our special teams guru at 4, Smith, and at the bottom of the list, player I absolutely love, though, Denzel Mims. I hope he puts it together. He was a second-round pick a couple years ago, so hopefully he gets things turned around. And if he does get things turned around, who does he push? Who does he push down? Wilson, Davis.
Well, I think no matter how good Denzel is, he's going to be. He might get, if he's good enough, he might be, instead of just being on the bench, he might actually spell Corey Davis, like give him a rest on certain plays. We could see something like that happen. I mean, look, are all of our receivers going to play 17 games and stay healthy for 17 games? Probably not. Right. So as long as he's good and shows improvements and has a much better offseason, comes back, he's at full strength, he's healthy now, he's learned the playbook, he'll be that guy that can step in when somebody's hurt. But if he's really good, you could see him just step in when they have a long drive on a couple of plays to give a guy a breather after a big play where they're breathing hard and they come in for the oxygen. We've seen that. You might see him come in for like Corey Davis and spell him for a couple of plays if he earns that trust. But he's certainly going to pass Jeff Smith, I think. Jeff Smith is the one that is going to be like on the bubble for the roster cut, in my opinion.
And then let's take what a difference a season makes. Look at the Jets tight end room now. Uzama, Conklin, Yeboah is our only returning tight end, I believe, and then the Jets drafted Ruckert, I believe, at pick 100. So I know we talked about it once before. You think Yeboah might be the odd man out there. I know Ruckert did get put on the PUP list. But your thoughts on the tight end room this year?
Well, I think Yeboah will have a job if Ruckert's not ready to start the year, and then they'll move him to the practice squad and hope he survives it. Now, if one of the top 2 get hurt, Ruckert's out, Yeboah steps in and does amazing or plays great, maybe we can't put him on the practice squad because we can't take a chance that he doesn't, survive it. So, but right now, I think the plan would be Ruckert's not ready, Yeboah makes the roster and ends up on the practice squad when Ruckert gets activated.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. I know Jabot last year was a undrafted guy that signed and made it to the active roster, so hopefully he can improve there. But then kicking situation, I have two guys listed here just because there will be a kicking battle in camp. So I wanted to do projections for both guys in the camp. But who do you think wins that battle?
It's so hard. This is the hardest one to call. It's such a toss. It's such a coin. It's such a coin toss. I think Pinheiro is the more accurate inside of 48 yards. Definitely the more trustworthy, or he's proven to be in the last, in the time he's played. But Zerline is if you're kicking a 55-yarder, you want Zerline. So it's what are the Jets looking for? Consistency or the ability to kick a long field goal? Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to go with I would slightly give Eddie the edge because I think they're going to want a guy who makes the kicks. The majority of kicks are going to be inside 50 yards. So I think that Eddie has the advantage unless Greg just comes in and has a ridiculous camp. But for the last couple of years, hasn't been very trustworthy.
Let's look here. Sean is in the chat there. He says, "Hey y'all, hope stream's going good. I'm just enjoying learning some new stuff on the Jets." That post, that's me, hasn't already talked to me about. I'm still on the 5-0 train to begin the year. He did say that. I don't know what he is smoking. But yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love that. But Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Miami, I don't know about 5-0, but
3-2. I got 3.
3 exactly, Steve. 3 will do. But then our defense, hopefully we improve this year. Last year the Jets gave up over 500 points. This year I got them at 451. What do you think? We definitely got to get that sack total up and interception total up. But yeah, points have got to come down as well.
Yeah, look, I think we only have one direction we can go. We're the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. Mm-hmm. The first thing that's going to help them is the offense. Just by getting rid of guys like Tyler, Johnson and 1, 2, 3 and outs and wearing down our defense. So by the second half, they're just, they break. That's one right there. The other is, and some of the league doesn't see this, and some even Jet fans overlook this. We are completely overhauling our defense. I mean, we're replacing 5 guys. There's going to be 5 new starters on that defense. And then there's going to be a lot of more depth on that defense. So last year, we lost 7 safeties. We had 7 different starting safeties in the first 4 weeks. We went 7 deep. The game we lost against Carolina, it was because we had this guy Redwine, right, who wasn't even part of it. We picked him up, threw him on the field, and he got burned by Robbie Anderson. So that was a big problem. And now we've looks like we're turning that around. The defensive line was battered. Now it's one of the strongest parts of our team. Adding Whitehead, adding Sauce Gardner, adding DJ Reed. This is a new defense. Brand new. So much more talent. I honestly think we can go from 32nd to like 20th in the NFL. I'm going to be realistic. Some people are saying top 10, we're going to be No, I'm going to be realistic. And if we went from 32nd to the 20th best defense in the NFL in 1 year, we should be very content and happy with that. It means we're going in the right direction.
Right. Agreed 100%. So, like I said, we didn't have the Dolphins fan or the Patriots fan come on. So
they were scared. They were scared.
Like, oh, Bills fans, Jet fans are crazy anyway. I don't need to be talking to Bills fans. But guys, thank you for giving me some time this evening. Why don't you guys let everybody know again your channel names and what they can expect over on your channels?
Go ahead, Jets Chaos.
All right, but that's my channel name. It's just Jets Chaos. If you type it in the search, it'll pop right up. What can you expect? You can expect just what you've seen. You can see I'm passionate. I get passionate. There's also a lot of humor on my channel when we do our live streams. We're a tight community. We like to joke around. I'm known as an eater. So, I'm on the West Coast. So when I'm on a lot, I'm eating dinner and people love it. My viewers love it. They think it's great. It's a big part of who I am. So, one of my nicknames on the channel from a lot of viewers is Snacks. And I actually, when I create my membership to be a member of my channel, we're going to call it the Chaos Snackers. That's going to be what you are when you're a member. So we have a good time, but we're also really, really passionate. And what I like is we have a diverse group. We have Miami Dolphin fans that come into our chat, Kansas City Chief fans, Jacksonville Jaguar fans. They're like regulars, and it's very respectful, and they hang out and they're part of the community. And I hope to see more of that, because it's nice to have other teams, the fans of other teams in there, and be able to talk about their teams and give those perspectives and have healthy conversations.
Awesome. Yeah, same over here. It's called the Best Buffalo Bills channel or not. It's up to you to decide. I just get on every night. I made a pledge to release a video every single day leading up to the amazing moment when the Buffalo Bills finally win the Super Bowl championship. I tell all my subscribers, or tell everybody watching, that you do not subscribe unless you know that the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. But if you subscribe anyway, that's fine too. And we have a lot of people, like you said, that are just popping in from other cities and other fan bases and having fun. I try to make people laugh. I'm just an old guy in his basement that really should be spending more time with his wife. She every once in a while reminds me of that. But I'm downstairs doing videos, and I'm having a lot of fun and trying to come up with, new things to do to keep people interested. You guys know, as content creators, it gets a little challenging sometimes to come up with stuff. But the reward is, people commenting and saying that they like what you did or they got a laugh. And it's just a blessing for me. And that's pretty much what it's all about here in Buffalo.
Yeah, so guys, I did put their links over in the chat, so check them out as well. Give them a follow. Steve, I love watching your videos. Jeremy, I hang out in your live streams a lot. So guys, keep up the great work. I don't have anything planned for Sunday yet, so I'll come up with something for that. But next Thursday, we're taking a deeper look in the NFC West. I'm talking to a Seahawks fan about him coming on. I have a friend, Payo Time, that has a YouTube channel. He does LA Rams content. He'll be coming on to talk about the Rams. So check us out at least next Thursday, and follow us on Twitter as well at PA Fantasy Sports, where you get all the updates. Guys, once again, thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys over on your channels.
Yeah, have a great season, and I think we'll be running into each other again, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Come
stuff.
to Buffalo. We'll go to a game.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.